The federal government has announced a 7-year moratorium on the establishment of new federal universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education in Nigeria. This decision aims to address the declining quality and infrastructure in the nation's tertiary education sector. Minister of State for Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, disclosed these after Federal Executive Council FEC meeting, presided over by President Bola Tinubu at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Our correspondent, Victoria Ayorinde, reports.
As the Tinubu's administration intensified efforts in education reform, in a meeting held at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, the Federal Executive Council FEC has announced a 7-year moratorium on the establishment of new federal universities, polytechnics, and colleges to halt duplication and waste, while consolidating resources to upgrade existing facilities and manpower. Nigeria currently has 72 federal universities, 42 federal polytechnics, and 28 federal colleges of education, with many struggling with low enrollment and inadequate facilities. In the 2024 and 2025 academic section, 199 universities had fewer than 100 applicants and 34 had 0 applicants. Similarly, 295 polytechnics and 64 colleges of education recorded low or no applicants. Minister of Education Dr. Tunji Alausa, who spoke to the media after the meeting, said the moratorium will enable the government to focus on rehabilitating infrastructure, recruiting and training staff, and increasing the carrying capacities of existing institutions.
Let me give the members of the press and the entire country the full perspective and the context behind this memo going to the Federal Executive Council. Today, in our country, access to tertiary education is no longer an issue. What we have now is duplication of new federal tertiary institutions. And what we're seeing is significant reduction in the carrying capacity of each of these institutions, tertiary institutions, universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. Now, we're witnessing significant deterioration of infrastructures, both physical and manpower, at these federal tertiary institutions. So, and if we do not act decisively, we'll have significant reduction in the quality of graduates coming out of these institutions, which will impact a global rating and the respect that the international community has for the graduates, for the people graduating from our universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education.
Alausa emphasized that access to tertiary education is no longer the problem. Quality is. The proliferation of new institutions has stretched resources thin, leading to deteriorating infrastructure and a drop in graduate quality, citing a federal university with fewer than 800 students but 1,200 staff as an example of the inefficiencies and waste in the system.
And if we don't act decisively as well, the unemployment rate will worsen because hundreds of thousands of these graduates will not have life skills at all, which will eventually lead to significant reduction in our human capital index. So if we want to improve the quality of our tertiary institution and not be a laughing stock across the world, the FEC decision today is the most pragmatic and the best for our educational system, for our tertiary educational system, so that we can sustain the respect that the world has for us. We can now begin to mobilize resources to improve infrastructures, both manpower and physical infrastructures, in the current institutions that we have as a federal government. If we do this, we'll also expand, we'll be able to improve quality of education, and more importantly, increase the carrying capacities of these universities.
The Federal Executive Council has approved the establishment of 9 new private universities whose applications had been pending for over 6 years. These applications met strict National Universities Commission criteria. Victoria Ayorinde, reporting for Captain TV.